Yo guys, welcome back to the channel again. It feels good to say that. I'm making this video because I want Vinland Saga season 3. I missed the show and I want to talk about it again. And I said, what better way to talk about this show than one of my other favorite episodes in episode 9 titled Oath. And what I love about this episode in particular is that it's a combination of other episodes previous, not only to season 2, but also referencing stuff from season 1. And today we're going to talk about that in detail. This is a spoiler warning for season 1 and 2. I do not want to ruin the show for anybody because I feel like this is a show that everyone should witness the peak of it. So therefore, please don't watch this video if you haven't watched season 1 and 2. The opening for this episode is something I still think about day to day because it just starts off so perfect. Thorfinn just relaxing on a field with the goat on top of him. It's a beautiful sight to see. What I love about this scene is that it shows Thorfinn's innocence. Despite all the killings he did on the battlefield, at the end of the day, he's grateful that he hadn't gone through it because to him, in this dream, it was all a dream. All the killings, him fighting Thorkel, and obviously his father dying, it's all a dream to him. And then he's grateful that it wasn't real. Obviously that isn't the case, but it just goes to show his character at its core hopes that the life he was living isn't true. And what makes this so special for me is that this is the first time in the season that Thorfinn is having some sort of peace in the show. Because throughout season 2, he's been hating himself for everything he did in season 1. And rightfully so.
Death only has value when people fear it. If they didn't, then folks like us would have a hard time trying to figure out a way to make a living.
But why? Why should death be something everyone has to fear? Do we only live because we don't want to die? Why is that? Does something good come from living? It hasn't from me. In all the days I've lived, no good thing has ever happened to me.
That scene that I just played is hella depressing. And given the context in that world, I understand why he feels like that. Thorfinn up until that point had been a slave to revenge. He hadn't had any purpose in his life outside of killing Askeladd. And when obviously that was robbed from him, he just crashed out on Canute. And it's in this moment in that scene where he's talking about why do people fear death? What is the point of life in general? That's the first time he's deeped what life is in some way. When he said nothing good had ever happened to him, I understood what he was saying because up until that point, he had experienced nothing but tragedy after tragedy with his father dying, Askeladd also dying, but him not being the one to do it, also sending him into a tailspin, then obviously becoming a slave afterwards. Nothing good has ever happened to him in his life, let alone he had been ripped away from his home as a kid. Well, not necessarily ripped away, but he chose to go on this adventure, but not on his own free will. I should have known this episode was going to be rough when Thor is walking up and then we see Thorfinn happy to see his father for the first time. And then he immediately drops the, I smell blood on you. I lost my mind. This scene was done so well because you didn't even have time to process the scenery changing, and before you know it, Thorfinn reverts back into his younger self, the one that was responsible for all the killings, and it's done so well. And the representation of Thorfinn holding Einar, what I loved about this is that in some reality, this was the truth. Thorfinn was killing people without no regards for human life. He was just going about his day doing what he was doing. And in some way, it could have been Einar in one of those villages that he did storm and take over. It could have been, but it wasn't. But that's what this episode told us, and I just loved it. I loved it. You see Thor's speech, yeah? I'm just gonna let it play out. Honestly, because I don't think I could do justice by talking about it. This speech honestly speaks for itself.
I have failed you, Thorfinn. I still had so many things that I wanted to tell you. Even more that I needed to teach you, to prepare you for the world.
No, you're wrong. It's my fault. Father, forgive me.
You didn't deserve
That's
this.
not true. It was all my fault.
I left you alone. Abandoned
Father,
you.
wait! Father! Father! Stop!
Do you understand it now, Thorfinn? You have no enemies, my son. No one does. All we have are people. There is no one you need to hurt. There never was. Not even yourself.
Like, dude, hearing Thorfinn begging his father to stop, like he's sorry for what he's done, it's just, but it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. And again, how they bring us back to that scene of Thor's holding a younger Thorfinn, telling him that he has no enemies again. How they bring it back to my people. I'm telling you, this show can change your life if you let it. I'm telling you for free. I don't think many people did this, because as Thor is giving this speech and you're seeing the souls of the damned crawling on him, he's accepted this, which is why he's a true warrior. He's accepted this. But for Thorfinn, which is what makes this episode so great, he hasn't. And that's why I love this episode. You can see the souls are dragging him, and it's amazing to see. I'm gonna let the next few scenes play out by themselves, because honestly, the voice acting in these scenes is beautiful. It's done so spectacular. I gotta give props to where it's due. And where we see Valhalla for the first time again, remember back in season 1 where most of the Vikings and warriors were talking about how Valhalla was a place that they all wanted to go to. This is our heaven, the place for warriors to finally have peace or something like that. To see what Valhalla really is and what it really represents, it's scary. It is a scary sight to see, which is why Thorfinn was horrified at this. The shock in his face when he sees Bjorn as well, and then complement that with the absolute amazing arrival of Askeladd. I do not think there has been a better voice acting in dub for an actor.
That's Bjorn.
The son of Thor graces us with his presence yet again. How are you, Thorfinn? Me? Never been better.
Dude, this like perfectly captures what Askeladd was as a character. It had the right amount of sarcasm, but also genuinity in it as well. It was done so well. And immediately, Askeladd goes into ripping into Thorfinn. And I love this. Their relationship was something I didn't expect to love as I was watching season 1. Because throughout season 1, I'm hoping Askeladd dies. I'm like, Thorfinn, get your get back. He doesn't deserve to live. But then You see there's more to his character than just a Viking who just wants fame and money and all of that. We see Askeladd has his own agenda, and as the season progresses, we kind of begin to like this guy. His relationship with Thorfinn as the season progresses becomes more of a father and son relationship, but kind of twisted, even to the point where eventually when Askeladd dies, it's a bittersweet thing. Because let's not forget, at the start of the show, we all want Askeladd to die for what he did to Thors and Thorfinn. But as the show continues, we become like one with his character. So eventually, even though we want him to die at the hands of Thorfinn, even when that isn't given to us, it feels bittersweet. It feels like we still lost. All of this was for what? And that's what I loved about that scene where he says, "How do you intend to live?" It's why I love that scene so much, because I don't think Thorfinn really deeped it up until that point. Again, I think this is one thing that wasn't really talked about in this episode. I love how the fact that Askeladd is the only one in Valhalla that still has his own human body, and it's a representation of him not being a slave to the whole culture of war and violence. I feel like his character was there to show that he's using this war and violence in this time to push his own agenda, because that's how you have to get your message across, which is a great contrast to what Thorfinn will soon later believe in terms of finding peace without violence and going out to find Vinland. And this is why I love Askeladd's character, because with all the little nibs and picks he has about Thorfinn, at the end of the day, the advice that he's giving Thorfinn in this episode, it all just feels like one big therapy session of some sorts. I love how they use the representation of Valhalla as a term of like just saying your own personal hell or your own prison. And it goes back to my point of saying Askeladd is one of the few people who has his own body and mind in this place, because he recognizes what it's truly about. And him telling Thorfinn, like, yes, I was the one that dragged you in here, but at the same time, you're one of the few people who can actually escape this kind of life if you allow it. Again, this scene is one reason as to why I love season 2 more than season 1, because during season 1, when we're seeing Thorfinn doing all this killing and all of this, we're cheering from like, yes, one step closer to Askeladd, one step closer. And then in season 2, they show you the pain and trauma that Thorfinn has caused to so many different families and the people's lives that he has ended. You see all of this because you see how tall that tower was. They're showing these were people. These were just regular people going about their lives until it was ended just because one little kid decided to go out dual wielding to get revenge for his father. His father that didn't even want that kind of life for him. Dude, it speaks volumes. The acceptance of Thorfinn crying out for his sins, to the wrong that he's done to these people, it was just beautiful. And then to now see Askeladd now jumps out to save him. Yo! He's now screaming at Thorfinn, fight your true battle. This is not the one. Find your peace. Become a true warrior. The fact that it's Askeladd telling him, not even Thor, it's Askeladd saying the same thing again. He said the same thing just before he died to Thorfinn. For him to say it in this place as well, dog, it go crazy. It hits me. It hits me. And after the scene plays out, I'm just there wondering, wow. This whole episode was therapy for Thorfinn, but also anyone else that wants to relate to this in some way. Dude, this episode did that for people. It did that for me. It did that for Thorfinn. Oh, it's top tier. It is top tier. That kind of resolve, to say that after everything that you've been through, to have that resolve based on what you've experienced in this episode, yeah, I won't lie. Thorfinn got to be top 5 greatest anime characters of all time. I'm saying it right now. When it's all said and done with this show, this guy's going into top 5. He's already top 5 for me, but I'm just saying for everybody else, he's top 5 because this scene, it moves me, man. It moves me. And I guess it is some kind of poetic justice knowing that Thorfinn doesn't face any ramifications for actually fighting with the other farmheads. And then he just goes back to work, showing that he's okay with this life of solitude in some way. And it's just a beautiful spectacle to see. And I know I've said beautiful a lot during this video, but that is genuinely what Vinland Saga is. Vinland Saga is just beautiful. So yeah, guys, that's the end of the video. It's kind of short, maybe long. I'm not 100% sure, but I just needed to talk about this show again because it's my favorite of all time. I don't think it'll ever move away from my top 1. But yeah, that's the video right there. So yeah, if you did enjoy, please consider liking the video, sharing it, commenting as well. Let everybody know that this video is out here. I'd say subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And if you haven't already, go check out my TikTok where I post like a lot of other content around like different animes that I'm currently watching and stuff like that. It's a good vibe. But yeah, once again, thank you guys for watching this video. I appreciate everyone for their support as of late. It's been really, really cool. Until next time, Deuces.